Welcome to a team selection video for Matchday 5 of Euro 2020 Fantasy Football. We're in the quarterfinal stage, and of course there's a big debate at the moment about whether we should have saved our wildcard for now. And I've got a wildcard team for those of you who still have it, and this can be very handy for you. Obviously, I wish I still had it, and I have to say, just a quick disclaimer, because obviously some people will, I wouldn't say copy, I mean some will, but other people will maybe take inspiration from what content creators are doing. And in my opinion, always back your own, use your gut feeling, back your own decisions, because I personally said myself, I wanted to save the wildcard for the quarterfinals or semi-finals or beyond. The reason why I played it myself in Matchday 3 was because there was going to be a lot of rotation. I had 7-8 players who were likely not to play, and in the end it came like that, it happened. I didn't gain too many points from it, but still, there's a reason why I played it, and everyone has a different team, although the template is arguably stronger than ever here. So a quick disclaimer before this video begins. In my opinion, always back your own decisions, and if you have a feeling that you shouldn't wildcard, and even if the majority of people are doing it, then it's good to just back your own decision, and it can pay dividends. And I think right now is a great opportunity for those who have the wildcard, but also I think it's a good opportunity for everyone, because there's going to be a lot of hits being thrown around at the moment, and in my opinion it's not worth it. Even now, even if we're going to struggle to get 11 players on the pitch, I definitely wouldn't recommend just taking hits to have an option on your bench or two. I think it's just worth having a starting 11, and then beyond that it doesn't matter, and it's not worth taking massive hits. That's just my opinion. So I'm going to be talking about how Matchday 4 went, and it was actually a good game week for me. I went up in rank significantly, around 34k, more like it. I'm a bit happy with that. 68 points, and obviously I've got a good captaincy there and some good players around the team, but of course, just like many others, burnt by the Netherlands. And once again, that's going to be a bit of a contentious one, because if De Ligt didn't get sent off, they could have gone through. And same with France, if they didn't bottle their 3-1 lead, then we'd be in a much better position going into the quarterfinals. And sometimes these things can happen. I still think it's manageable with 3 transfers to use before the quarterfinals, and then 5 before the semis and 5 before the final. I think it's actually, it's not too bad. So ultimately, we'll have to wait and see, but I think it's a great opportunity right now. I think just not taking hits is an advantage over your opponents. So Benzema captain, very happy with him. Immobile blank, Depay blank. So, with Immobile, I was targeting that Austria fixture. He played well, in my opinion, but he just didn't get the points we wanted. Depay was awful in that game, and so were the Netherlands. They just didn't have much going forward. And another thing, before De Ligt got sent off, Marlon had that chance. If he buries that, it's a completely different game. There could have been more spaces for the likes of Depay after that goal, a hypothetical goal, of course, to take advantage. But it is what it is. Wijnaldum, once again, blanking. Sarabia and Forsberg, very happy with them. Forsberg hit the post twice, but I'll take 7 points from both of them in a week like this. Berardi with 3 points. Mailer with 12. And yeah, for those of you captain and fair play, and he's, my high scoring player on my team. But yeah, I'm happy with Benzema anyway. It's only a 2-point difference there. John Stones clean sheet, and I back England to go all the way to the final. And yeah, I mean, especially now with Netherlands out, I think England have a great opportunity. And having the likes of Stones already puts me in good stead. And I'm looking to increase the amount of English players I have. Spinazzola, another assist. It's a bit of a shame that Donnarumma, Spinazzola, they lost a clean sheet right towards the end. It's a big shame, but it is what it is. Still 5 points from Spinazzola. Stecklenburg blank, Donnarumma blank, De Bruyne injured, and he's likely to miss the quarterfinals against Italy. Dumfries 0 points, and Kimpembe 1. I mean, overall it's a disaster, especially looking forward for my team, but compared to most, I think I've had a better week, and that's why I've gone up in rank so much. But moving on to my team at the moment for Matchday 5, it's not very impressive. And as you can see, I've got 3 eliminated players in my starting lineup, and I've got De Bruyne's injured, and then of course these 4 who are also eliminated as well. So it's not a great position to be in, especially with no wild card. But I think what I'm planning to do is make 3 transfers, have a starting lineup, and if there's news of De Bruyne missing out, then I might take a -4 for a midfielder, and I'll be talking about those transfers. But the rest is pretty decent. What I would say is that those of you who have Berardi or are looking to get him in is very risky, because with Chiesa's goal, that very important goal, his first goal for Italy, maybe Berardi loses a spot now, and that is definitely something that could happen. So in my case, I could have a situation where I make 3 transfers, but I still have 9 players in my lineup, and I don't have a full 11. So that's very likely. Have to see what happens with De Bruyne and Berardi, but the rest should start, and they're good options. But then again, with Spain and Sarabia, who knows if he's going to play there as well. But yeah, Benzema, Depay, Forsberg, they're eliminated. I've got to get rid of them. And another thing, just obviously this is kind of common sense, but just to kind of highlight it, in terms of your eliminated players, just get rid of the ones that are the most expensive. So in my case, it'd be Benzema, De Bruyne potentially if he's injured, Wijnaldum, and probably Dumfries. So those players I'm going to be getting rid of. There's no point getting rid of your cheap ones. And in terms of second goalkeepers, do not take a hit for them, in my opinion. Do not do that. And if you can avoid it, the defence, the same thing. Unless you're getting someone like Meunier, who can get a clean sheet even against Italy and can get an attack and return. But other than that, I would only take a hit or two for a really good asset up front or in midfield. But in the defence and goalkeeper, especially the goalkeeper, just don't do that, in my opinion. Now, this is what my team is looking like at the moment. The transfers I'm thinking of doing: Harry Kane in, Sterling in, and also Dolberg. But obviously, if De Bruyne is out also, and then I kind of get a suspicion that Berardi might not play, then I might take a -4 hit. And I'm thinking of getting maybe Ferran Torres or Damsgaard instead of De Bruyne. Obviously, it's a big downgrade, but if De Bruyne's not playing, then it is what it is, and I can have a full 11 potentially, depending on what happens with Berardi. But that's my plans at the moment. I think going all in on England, I mean, it could burn us just like it did with the Netherlands, but I think England are different. They have a much better defence than the Netherlands, and yeah, the likes of Harry Kane and Sterling, I think they can do really well. One of them should be getting attacking returns within the next few. Harry Kane got his goal. He should have more confidence, and I think I actually did. I was speaking about it in the last few days. I had a feeling Kane would score against Germany, and it came to pass. But the thing with Kane is his ceiling might not be that high compared to how it is in FPL, but still, I think Harry Kane is a great option right now. Dolberg, I'm not so sure about him, but Poulsen, it looks like he has a hamstring injury, but it's going to be a difficult one. If Poulsen is still out, Dolberg will play. He got 2 goals against Wales, and yeah, he's just cheap, to be honest. I can't really afford anyone else if I want Harry Kane and Sterling in there. But of course, if I do downgrade De Bruyne to Damsgaard, that will give me a lot more money up front, and I could even go into someone like Lukaku or Patrick Schick potentially. Obviously, there are going to be Ukraine players, and do not underestimate anyone, but personally what I'm thinking is that Yarmolenko and Yaremchuk, they're the 2 best options from Ukraine, and Zinchenko, but I wouldn't be going for them. I back England to get a clean sheet potentially and also go through. So it's a difficult one. And in the end, you have to go with what you think is going to happen in the games and just go with the best assets from each team. But if you are on a wild card, for those of you who are interested, obviously I wish I was in a position to wild card, but then again, it's not as bad as I think, because especially with the likes of De Bruyne and Hazard out, there's not really too many standout options, so it's not like I'm massively improving my team. But the good thing here is you have a safety net, you can have a pool of 15 players to choose from, and you have a bit more flexibility and more points potential. But I don't think it's the end of the world if you don't have your wild card. But if you do, I think it's a massive advantage. And this is the front three I'd probably go with: Lukaku, Immobile, and Kane. What I would say is that Belgium-Italy could be a very low-scoring game. It could be a 1-0, could be 0-0 and goes to penalties or extra time. And yeah, if not, it could just be a very narrow win to either side, 2-1. So it's going to be a difficult one, predicting that. But yeah, maybe having Lukaku and Immobile could be the way forward. But if you are not sure about that, then what you could do is, instead of Immobile, go for Patrick Schick, for example. That's what I would probably do. And I think Chiesa is going to start over Berardi. That's what I personally think. And he's 7 million. And yeah, he just did very well in that game against Austria. It was a very important goal and a great way to score for the first time for the Italian national team. As for the rest of the midfield, I'll be honest, I'm not completely confident. Sterling, I think, is a good option, and he's just been very good in this tournament. He's scored the bulk of England's goals, and he's just a threat. He's getting into the right positions. He's got that pace. I think he's a great option. Pablo Sarabia still, I think, is the standout for Spain. And one thing to note is that we're going to get the lineups for the quarterfinals for Spain, and if they go through, we're going to get the lineups for Spain in the semi-final. So I think getting 2 or 3 Spanish players makes sense. I maybe wouldn't go overboard with 4, because Switzerland could definitely knock them out. They proved it with the game against France. But I think Sarabia is the standout, and I would recommend 2 or 3 Spanish players if you have the wild card. Ferran Torres is another one. He could be benched, but even from coming on as a substitute, he could do really well. So Ferran Torres is another one to look out for, but it kind of just shows that there aren't too many standout midfielders in this week. There is Yarmolenko, to be fair. You can't underestimate him, and there are others, but ultimately I probably would go with Ferran Torres. And the other midfielder would be Damsgaard. I think he's a no-brainer. I'm looking to get him in for my own team. I was considering him for Matchday 4, and yeah, he did well, both in Matchday 3 and Matchday 4. And he's just one of the best options from Denmark, a great Christian Eriksen replacement. And as for the defence, obviously I've kind of gone from top to bottom, which is a bit unorthodox. Spinazzola, kind of a no-brainer. He's the best one from Italy. John Stones, he's nailed. He's starting every single game. But if you want a bit more attacking threat and you have the money, because for example, I have 0.6 million remaining, you could go for Luke Shaw. Did get the assist for the first goal for for Raheem Sterling. Didn't assist himself, did he? And then yeah, Mæhle, I think from Denmark, he's the standout. Proved it once again in the round of 16. So yeah, Mæhle's a fantastic option. And I think if you want a bit of Czech Republic cover, apart from Patrick Schick, I'd probably go for Kalas or Sufal. I'd probably go for one of those sorts of players. There is also Hollis, to be fair, who got 11 points, I believe, in Matchday 4, which is insane. You could always have him as a budget midfield option. But yeah, I'd say Kalas, Sufal, even the goalkeeper, Hollis, and Patrick Schick. They're the best ones you can go for. And they could actually knock out Denmark. I think it's going to be a tighter game than we think. And Kalas could be a good option. And not many people are going to be going for a Czech Republic player, let alone a defender. So that could be something to look at. Thomas Meunier, I think he's the standout from Belgium defence. He's got that attacking potential, got the assist for Thorgan Hazard's goal. Of course, it was a screamer, so he was a bit lucky there. But still, Thomas Meunier doing the business. He's the highest scoring defender at the moment. And I think that game could be very tight. And maybe instead of the attackers like Lukaku and Immobile, it could be time for Spinazzola and Meunier, where they're the ones who are going to be hauling. And yeah, other than that, the goalkeepers, I've got Unai Simon, and to be honest, it's just Spanish cover. They could keep a clean sheet against Switzerland, but if they play the way they did against Croatia and Switzerland play the way they did against France, I think there could be plenty of goals in that game. But Unai Simon, cheap keeper and pretty decent. I think right now the standout goalkeeper is Pickford. You know, even got save point against Germany and a lot of clean sheets. England look very solid. I think it's worth doubling up on their defence with Pickford and Stones or Luke Shaw. Those are the ones I'd be looking at. There is also Maguire, who's the cheapest way into their defence. But yeah, Pickford also looked very good in that game. And if not, there's always Donnarumma. I think Italy have a great chance of a clean sheet if they do go through. But yeah, ultimately, I think Pickford has the better fixtures and therefore a better chance of a clean sheet. So that's my opinion on the best wildcard team you can make. And of course, I wish I was in a position to do that. But in the end, I used the Matchday 3 because of the rotation. And it is what it is. But it's definitely something to note for next time. Maybe for the World Cup game next year. Maybe let's not play our chips so early. I think that's definitely worth considering. And yeah, as for my team, I'll be making similar moves. Harry Kane, Sterling potentially, and Dolberg, and maybe one midfielder coming in for De Bruyne. But that's it for Matchday 5. That's my team. That's my thoughts on the best wildcard team. What do you think? Let me know down in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed it, smash the like button and subscribe if you're new around here. And appreciate all the support across the live streams and also the videos. And there'll be more to come also for FPL and UCL Fantasy, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, good luck with Euro Fantasy. I think we all need it, especially those of us with no wildcard left or in any chips. But there's still a good possibility here. And if there's any lesson you take from this video, I think the best one is don't take massive hits. Obviously, it's a bit of fun, of course, and you could even maybe pay them back. But the more hits you take, the more difficult it will be to get those points back. So personally, I would stick to a -4 or a -8 maximum. And if possible, just stick to free transfers. Of course, in my situation, I might need to take a hit, but I wouldn't be going overboard with them. And I think you could gain a big advantage just by doing that, even if everyone blanks. But thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.